And that's what he does. He just never stops running. He's such an athlete. And that Newcastle team, they ran over Aston Villa, especially in the second half. First half I thought was even, when Villa was kind of connected and they were sort of both playing. You had the back and forth, all the new boys scoring. You had Tonali score, then you had Diaby score. Watkins had a chance, and it was pretty even. Isak was just a difference maker. What an incredible player. I think the Mings injury really hurt Aston Villa. They mentally sort of dropped a little bit, where they were like, we lost Buendia the day before to an ACL. Then they lose Mings to an ACL. They got to feel hard done, like, we made this great transfer. The news is great. We've got a great coach. And now we've got to try and overcome this. And then I think Newcastle just ran them over.
But, Newcastle is just well run, man. From I'm telling you, man, I said it. They're going to make the Champions League this year, and they're really going to contend for the Premier League title. I do believe that with my heart. And I know there's just one game. I get that. I don't want to get
this is overreaction time. This is when you do it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm telling you, I see it, and one thing I will say, that stadium, those fans, we talk about Liverpool, we talk about all these clubs, and I got a good reaction from Chelsea fans when they scored, and the crowd goes up and the camera shakes. But when Tonali scored that goal, that's the loudest goal I've heard in a while in a Premier League match. You know what I mean?
St. James's Park, man, it's no joke.
It's no joke, and it's. I almost want to say this, and not in the bad way, but it almost doesn't seem colorful. It seems like a cemetery almost. It's smoky, black and white, and it feels like people go there to get killed. And I love it. I'm all nice. About that stuff. And
I mean, that's the thing that I think is going to be so interesting. So Liverpool has lived. I like to juxtapose these with Liverpool because I think Newcastle and Liverpool, in terms of stadiums, in terms of iconic, in terms of like the fandom, they're connected in that way. If Liverpool can if Anfield swallows teams alive like it does, you've seen it with Barcelona, City have been run over. Sometimes those stadiums can lift to a level where you can't handle it, like your team collapses and goes into the ground. Right? Like Barcelona, the greatest team ever with Messi, they died in that stadium, right? It just fell apart. They were eaten by the ground. I think that St. James's Park can get there, and we'll see what happens. Those first Champions League nights in Newcastle in the winter, it's cold. That place is on the ocean. That town is the farthest thing England has. It's way up in the northeast on its own, kind of. Like it's their own culture. And they're out there and they have that team. The stadium is literally at the top of a hill in the middle of town. You can look down on the whole city. And it is a beacon. The lights will be on. The whole city will see it. And, there are a few stadiums that can get that way. I mean, I think the San Siro and I think Napoli's and the Diego Maradona, Anfield, not Manchester City, but I think Old Trafford can at times. Aston Villa does have that in the Holt End. There's some stadiums that have that. We've seen it from Brentford at times. We've seen it at Goodison Park that they've saved Everton. There are just a few stadiums, and I think what's the other one that I think about? Newcastle's ground. That they save their ass when they play there. So there are stadiums that fans can save you, and I think you're right to call out Newcastle. The only reason I think a lot of people aren't supporting Newcastle's European campaign or season campaign is just first time Wednesday nights into Saturday nights. How does the team handle it? Can they handle it? And we did see some depth. Isak came off. Callum Wilson comes on, scores a nice goal. Anthony comes off. What's his name? I'm trying to look for these guys' names as I go. Sorry. Anthony Gordon comes off. Harvey Barnes comes on. He scores a goal. So they do have some depth. Bruno came off. They got Sean Longstaff, who was the regular starter last year, back on. Almiron comes off. Murphy comes on. So they have some players that can help them. And they have Elliot Anderson to come on as well, a youngster who came on for Tonali in the last minute. So they're starting to build some depth. I think the questions are, is Eddie Howe really a Champions League level manager? Can he manage this team and keep them with him? We don't know.
For top football news, debate, analysis, and opinion, join Top Football Club. Watch live on YouTube or on the Top FC News website, or listen live on the AMP app and on your smart speaker. Top Football Club.